So in this video, we're going to be talking about the SYKOV pistols, breaking down the stats for this gun and comparing it to the DIAMATTI pistols as well as the M19. And we're going to be focusing on the Akimbo versions of all of these guns. So if you enjoy weapon stat breakdowns, weapon comparisons, and overall tips and tricks for Warzone, don't forget to subscribe to the channel as we're trying to reach our goal of 10,000 subscribers. And it also takes us a while to put together videos like this, so we would appreciate your support. And also click that link down below and subscribe to our second YouTube channel where we're going to have a lot more content. The main focus for this video is going to be focusing on the Akimbo aspects of all of these guns, but we will make a separate video comparing the single version of this gun to a single DIAMATTI and maybe some other sidearms as well, because I do think this gun is still going to be pretty powerful as a single weapon too. But like I said, the focus for this video is the Akimbo version, and it doesn't take a rocket scientist or any sort of genius to figure out that this gun is completely overpowered in Warzone. But if you want to see the full breakdown, then stick around for the rest of this video. So as always, the first thing we need to do is we need to go over the attachments we use to compare all of these guns. So obviously, firstly, we have the SYKOV pistols. So you want to use that mono suppressor. Of course, that is going to be pretty much one of the main attachments for this gun. You get sound suppression, damage range, all that kind of stuff. Then you want to use the SYKOV auto barrel, which is the one that gives you the fully automatic sidearm pistol, which is pretty much the OP part of this gun. So you want to make sure you use that. Then for ammunition, you want to use the 80 round drums, because this is just absolutely insane. 80 rounds on a sidearm, and think about it, you double that because you're using it in Akimbo. So you don't really get a con to aim down sight time or overall movement speed and sprint to fire speed. So it's kind of weird, but like I said, you want to use the 80 round drum. Then for laser, 5mm laser is going to give you the best hipfire accuracy on the modern warfare weapons. And then lastly, for the perk, you want to use that Akimbo perk there. But let's quickly talk about the class setups for the other two guns as well. So for the DIAMATTI pistol, we use the agency suppressor. We then use the task force barrel because you do get that faster strafing speed. So that might be a slight bonus over the SYKOV pistol. So like I said, we use the task force here. Then we use the 5mm laser again. Now some people do like the ember sighting point, but personally I prefer the 5mm laser. Ammo, you want to go for the 30 round salvo mags. This is the biggest mags you can get for this gun. And then lastly, for the final attachment, you want the dual wield attachment, which is pretty much the same as the Akimbo attachment. And then lastly, we need to talk about the M19 as well. So of course we use the mono suppressor for that. We didn't use any barrel, but we did use the lightweight trigger, and we did calculate the fire rate based off of this. Then ammunition was the 32 round mags, laser, 5mm laser, and then lastly, you want to use the Akimbo perk as well. So those are the three class setups we use to compare all three of these guns. So the first thing we're going to talk about now is the overall handling stats for all three of these weapons. So which one moves quicker, which one feels better when you're running around the map overall. Like I said, all these are sidearms, so they're going to move really quick, which is the main benefit of having these guns, of course, especially over something like an assault rifle, an LMG, and even some of the SMGs. These are going to move pretty quick, but which one is the best? So on screen just now, you'll see the stats for all three weapons. You'll see the SYKOV on the left, the DIAMATTI's down the middle, and the M19 on the right. And for the rate of fire, we calculate the rate of fire with that new auto barrel. And the rate of fire for a single gun is 871 rounds per minute. Then of course you multiply that by 2 because you've got two weapons. And that gives you an insane rate of fire, which is the fastest rate of fire in this entire game at 1,742 rounds per minute. That is ridiculous, honestly. The fastest firing gun, I think, is like the MAC-10 or maybe the AS-VAL or something like that. And even then, it's only like 1,100 or something. So, like I said, this is the fastest firing gun in the game. Then we have the DIAMATTI pistols with their rate of fire. So for a single DIAMATTI pistol, it's 628 rounds per minute, and that's including all the burst delays and everything like that. And then again, you time this by 2, and then you get a rate of fire of 1,256 rounds per minute. And then the slowest of them all is the M19 pistols, because they are semi-automatic. Now, even though you do have that fast trigger, they're still much slower than the SYKOV as well as the DIAMATTI pistols. Then we also tested the tactical sprint to fire time. Now, the reason why a lot of people will use the SYKOV pistols is because some people might have auto tac sprint turned on, and the SYKOV pistols will be the best for that because you don't need to actually spam the triggers or anything like that, and gives you that weird delay. So even with auto tac sprint on and testing this, the sprint to fire time on the SYKOV pistols was the slowest. And then the DIAMATTI pistols and the M19, there wasn't much of a difference there. This could be completely within the margin of error between these two guns, but the SYKOV was definitely slower than the DIAMATTI pistols as well as the M19 pistols. Talking about magazine sizes now, and again the SYKOV has just a ridiculous advantage. So for a single SYKOV pistol, you get a mag size of 80 rounds, which is insane. But then of course, remember you're running two weapons, so you multiply that by 2 to get 160 rounds. This is just insane. This is like LMG level of ammunition. Then for the DIAMATTI pistols, a single DIAMATTI can hold 30 rounds, and then you times that by 2 to get 60. And then as a similar case with the M19 as well. Then for reload times, the DIAMATTI comes out on top. The SYKOV and the M19 reload at around about the same time, and even though you think the reload should be slower on the SYKOV because it's got 80 round mags, it's definitely not slower. It's about the same as the M19 pistol, which is not a slow reload. Now the last thing we tested was overall movement. Now all of this was within the margin of error, to be completely honest. I tested overall movement 3 times for each of these guns, and I got slightly different results each time. So pretty much the overall movement for all 3 of these guns is about 5 meters per second, and I don't think it's much different, and that should not be the decider for each of these weapons. So as we can see, already a lot of the advantages are going to the SYKOV pistol. So it is the new weapon, it is going to be overpowered, but I think the main issue with this gun is kind of like the damage values. But we don't need to get into that. What we do need to talk about now is the hipfire accuracy for all 3 of these guns, because even though you have 80 rounds in a SYKOV mag, can you actually land any of those shots? So like I said, we're not comparing a single weapon here, we're comparing the Akimbo weapons. So you're going to be hip firing, and you do need those lasers on there to make them accurate as possible. On screen now, you'll see the recoil chart for all 3 of these guns, or the hipfire chart, and this is done at a 5 meter distance. We have the DIAMATTIs on the left, the M19 down the middle, and the SYKOV on the right. The DIAMATTIs has the widest spread out of the hipfire out of all 3 of these guns. The M19s perform the absolute best in terms of hipfire accuracy, so you're going to land many more shots with the M19. And then the SYKOV has the most vertical recoil out of all 3 of these guns. So you do get a con to kind of hip fire with the SYKOVs and the DIAMATTIs, whereas the M19s are super accurate. So you can definitely try and compensate for the recoil on the SYKOV pistols by pulling down a little bit when you are in point blank range. It should allow you to hit a couple more shots than you usually would. But like I said, you do need to be in point blank range with these guns. Like I said, within 5 meters or below, and you should never use any of these guns above 10 meters because you're not going to be landing any shots whatsoever. You might as well use a single weapon if you want to use these guns between maybe 10 and 20 meters, and even then you're pushing the boundaries of what these guns can actually do. And of course, the last thing we need to take a look into with all 3 of these guns, after comparing the recoil and the overall movement, is the time to kill values for all 3 of these guns. So before we do that, I do want to mention, when it comes to the fully auto barrel on the SYKOV pistols, you don't get any headshot multipliers. Now, if you remember, that was what made the DIAMATTI pistols super overpowered. Then they removed the headshot multiplier on the DIAMATTI pistols. And then also on top of that, the only gun that does have a headshot multiplier is the M19s. So if you do like landing a couple of headshots to get your time to kill to be a little bit quicker, then you want to use the M19 pistols. But to be completely honest, having that aspect of needing to land headshots is not going to do any better than what the TTK of the SYKOV can already do with just chest shots only. So on screen now, you will see the theoretical Akimbo time to kill with chest shots only. So keep that in mind. We're not landing any body shots or limb shots with these. I do want to give it a fair comparison. The SYKOV pistols have a time to kill of 241 milliseconds, which is the fastest time to kill currently in the game now. It's faster than the ASVAL, it's faster than the FFAR1, and I believe it's also faster than the Gallo shotgun as well. Don't quote me on that one though, I've not actually done the comparison. But like I said, this is a super fast time to kill gun. The DIAMATTIs are not too far behind at 287 milliseconds, but that's like a 40 millisecond difference, and it's still noticeable. And then the M19s are trailing way behind. I mean, even if you do land a couple of headshots, you need to be lucky to land those first of all. And it does bring your time to kill down, but like I said, you're better off with the SYKOV pistols overall. So as you've just seen, the SYKOV pistols have a super fast time to kill, a really big magazine, and a super fast rate of fire, so they're going to be really forgiving. The recoil is a bit on the crazy side, so you do need to learn to manage that, or just make sure you're in super close ranges when you're using them. But other than that, these guns are stupidly overpowered right now. And the only way you can actually make these balanced, and the only way that they should make these balanced, is reduce the damage profile a little bit on these guns. But I don't know if they'll do that. I don't know if they'll change these guns at all, to be honest, because there's not been any tweaks to any Modern Warfare guns since the Cold War integration. So these guns might stay overpowered forever. But if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave us a like, as it takes us a while to put together videos like this. Also subscribe to the channel as we're trying to reach our goal of 10,000 subscribers. And also click that link in the description and subscribe to our second channel as well. We're going to have tons more content when it comes to Warzone and even Season 3 when that comes out. So make sure you subscribe over there, and thank you very much for watching.